Good morning students. In today's video we will discuss about chapter number 2 in chemistry, that is the matter around us pure? Now we have already learned about the matter, so I am not discussing what matter is again, right? So I am continuing forward from what matter is because we have already discussed in the online classes and the videos. Please refer the previous videos of chapter number 1, right? Matter in our surroundings. Now what is the matter? If we divide the matter, if we classify the matter can be classified into two. It can be divided into two or broadly classified into two, that is the pure substances and impure substances, right? Now if we are talking about the pure substances means that there is no mixture in it. The whole of the component or the substance consists of just one type of a particles or one kind of a particles. From here arises the definition, and the definition says that pure substances are the homogeneous substances that contains one kind of particles and has fixed set of properties, right? So that is about the pure substances. Now if we have to define what are pure substances, as I have already told you, it has only one kind of a particles, right? Homogeneous substances that contains only one kind of a particle and has a fixed set of properties are termed as a pure substances. Now the question arises, students, that the substance that we have in our surrounding, how we will define it, whether it is pure, how we will identify whether it is pure or an impure substance. It is very easy from the characteristics of the pure substances. Now always remember that if we are talking about the pure substances, all the pure substances have fixed set of properties. And what are those properties? Fixed boiling point, melting point and freezing point. So always remember that all the pure substances have the fixed set of properties in the form of melting point, boiling point and freezing point, right? If for example, if we take an example of a water, we know that water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, it boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So if it starts boiling at 100 degrees centigrade or Celsius, then it means it is a pure substance. If it freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, then it is again a pure substance. In case if it is not freezing at 0 degrees and it is not boiling at 100 degree, then it means there is certain amount of impurities that are present in it. That means that it has another kind of a particles present in it. As a result of that, the boiling point or the freezing point has deviated from its normal yardstick. Now if we talk about the pure substances, now these pure substances can further be divided into two. What are they? They can further be divided into elements and the next is the compounds. Now if we are talking about the chemistry, elements and compounds both are equally important for us. Why? Because if we talk about the elements, we cannot imagine the world without elements, neither we can imagine the world without compounds. If these were not there, nothing would be there. So if we talk about the elements, what are elements? How we will define elements? Now if we talk about the substances, those those substances that possesses UWS, those substances that possesses only one type of a atom, that possesses only one type of a atom is termed as an element, right? So if we are talking about the element can be defined as, these are the definitions, right? Those substances that possesses only one type of a atom is termed as an element, and on the basis of these we can define element into further three. We can categorize into further three, that is metals, second is non-metals, third is metalloids. Now if we talk about these three, if we talk about the metals, approximately 78% of the substances that we have in our surrounding in the nature, that is in the form of metals, right? Now if we talk about the metals, we have already discussed about the metals. What are metals? Example is iron, copper, aluminium, etc. There are lot many, right? So these are the few examples of the metals, again that possesses only one type of a atom in it. Therefore if we talk about the metals, there are certain characteristics that are associated usually with the metals, and they are that they are shiny, they have luster, they shine, they are hard, they cannot be broken easily. Third point is they are good conductor, usually good conductor of electricity except a few exceptions. They have a good melting point and a boiling point. They are sonorous, right? They are ductile and malleable, that is they can be rolled into thin sheet and a wire, right? So these are the few characteristics of the metals. In the same way, when we talk about the non-metals, examples of non-metals are mainly the gases, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, helium. All these are what? These are the examples of the non-metals, nitrogen, etc. Right? So if we talk about the non-metals, all the opposite of the metals, that is, while the metals are lustrous, non-metals are non-lustrous. Metals are hard, non-metals are soft in comparison to the metals, except one, diamond, right? In the same way, if we talk about the malleable and ductility, that is missing from the non-metals, because they are brittle, they can be broken easily, right? Therefore we cannot transform them into different shapes and the sizes. Next thing is, usually they are very bad conductor of electricity except graphite. And when we talk about sonorous, they are not sonorous because we cannot hit oxygen. I am hitting oxygen, maybe I am hitting nitrogen and carbon dioxide as well, but it is not making any type of a sound, right? So they are non-sonorous. What are metalloids? Now if we talk about the metalloids, those substances that have properties of both metals and non-metals, they are termed as metalloids. Example, silicon, right? Most common example is silicon. So these are termed as the metalloids. So what are elements? Those substances that possesses only one type of a atom, they are termed as the elements, and they are the three characteristics of the elements, three types of the elements: metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now we will talk about the compounds. What are compounds? Now students, it is very much necessary for us to understand what are compounds, because if we talk about the compounds, they are equally essential for us just like the elements. Now if we talk about the compounds, compounds can be defined as the chemical substances here it was one type, now it is more than one type of atoms. Chemical substances that are made up of two or more type of atoms, right? So chemical substances that are made up of two or more type of atoms and are chemically combined together and are chemically combined together. They are chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. Remember that it is very important that all the compounds have a fixed ratio on it. In a fixed ratio, that is termed as a compound. Example is water. Now we know that there are two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of oxygen. Now if we go to the atomic mass, example, its ratio is 1:8. Why I am talking about it? Because I have written it as a fixed ratio. So what example of the fixed ratio of the water is 1:8. How it comes? We know that the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1, atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So 2 molecules of hydrogen, 2/16, we will cut it off, it comes off as 1:8. Therefore that is an example of the compounds. So compounds can be defined as a chemical substances that are made up of two or more type of the atoms and are chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. They are termed as compounds. Now we will come to the next portion of the matter, that is the impure substances. Now why they are termed as impure substances? Because they are not having only one kind of a particles in it or one kind of a atoms in it, therefore it is termed as a impure. Now because it is having a mixture, therefore it can also be referred as mixture. Getting the point? Because it is not made up of only one set of particles. So we can define them as, this is again a definition, right? So what we can define mixture as? Mixture can be defined as the substances that contains heterogeneous substances that contains actually two or more type of particles, right? They are termed as mixture. So if we have to define mixture, combination of two or more type of particles, this is termed as a mixture. But if we talk about another specific characteristic of this feature, just like we have discussed about the characteristics of the pure substances in the form of melting point, boiling point and freezing point. So the thing that you have to always recall or remember is, when we are talking about the mixtures, they have individual chemical properties. They have what? Individual chemical properties. They have individual chemical properties that I have told you about the hydrogen and the oxygen here. So if we are talking about any type of a mixture that is in the form of air, air has a mixture of all the gases. It has carbon, it has carbon dioxide, it has oxygen, it has hydrogen, it has numerous inert gases, right? So what it is, all of them have a different set of chemicals properties in them. So every chemical property is there and they are not losing their chemical properties because of the presence of the other, right? So that is what I meant to say here is, in the mixtures, that individual chemical properties are retained by the type of the particles that are present in the mixture. I hope the point is clear to you. Now if we talk about the mixture, these mixture can again be divided into two. What are they? Let me change, where is, okay, homogeneous mixtures and these are the heterogeneous mixtures, right? So if we are talking about the homogeneous mixtures, remember here I have used the term homogeneous, right? Homogeneous. So if we are talking about the homogeneous, the mixture of the substances that have the same set of particles or the properties or the atoms, that are termed as homogeneous mixtures. So if we can write it, we can define it as the same set of, I am taking it as particles, atoms, right? Same set of particles throughout the solution, the substance, right? So that is termed as a homogeneous. Throughout the solution, I have used the terms of throughout the solution or the sample is termed as a homogeneous mixture. Now if we talk about the example of the homogeneous mixture, example is copper sulfate solution, salt solution. What will happen if we take a glass filled with certain amount of water in it and we add a tablespoon of salt in it, common salt, and we mix it, stir it? Then what will happen? The whole of the water in the form of a compound will have what? It will taste salty, and that saltiness, the taste of that salt will be uniformly distributed well within that whole water that is present in the glass. So this is termed as a homogeneous mixture. The set of the properties through which the solution or the sample it is evenly distributed throughout is termed as a homogeneous mixtures. Now what are heterogeneous mixtures? Now because there is, again we are talking about two or more types of particles, right? So again what will happen here? The particles are there are two or more than two types of particles are present. More than two or more particles that are present in the sample, particles present in sample. Oblique solution, right? Therefore what will happen? Because of the presence of the two or more different type of particles that are present in the solution, they will behave differently, right? What they will behave? They will behave differently, and as a result of that, because two different set of particles are mixed together, what will happen? They will not mix uniformly, thus not mixes uniformly. Here everything is mixed uniformly. So this is the biggest difference. Everything is mixed uniformly. Here everything is not mixed uniformly. Example, we can take it as salt, not water, sand. However, we will try hard, but the sand and the salt cannot achieve the same type of a uniformity. They will not mix in the same ratio. Now another thing that I forgot to mention in this video was about the compounds. Now I have just defined what compounds are. Usually compounds are also of two types. What are they? They are organic compounds and they are inorganic. So this is just for the extra knowledge when we are talking about the organic compounds, because we will discuss about the organic chemistry and inorganic chemistry in class 11th. By that time, what we should understand about the organic and inorganic is, organic substances are those substances that are present in the nature, right, in our surrounding, that are natural. right? They are termed as organic substances. Everything that is present in the nature, mother nature has provided us, that is organic substances. When we talk about the inorganic substances, well, I don't think that there is any need for me to define what inorganic substances are now, when I have defined organic substances. The rest of the things, they all are inorganic substances, right? I hope all the points that I have discussed here are clear to you. Thank you.